Hello Pisces. It's a reading for Pisces. It's a general reading. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Pisces, Venus, North Node. If you have a lot of Pisces placements in your chart, you stumble across this, could be for you. You know, hope it resonates. It might resonate with you. If it doesn't, don't force it. And we'll start. See what's going on with you, Pisces. I'm going to endeavour to speak up a bit, because I understand that I'm not, my audio, I don't think it's my device, but my voice isn't carrying very far. I don't naturally speak very loudly, so I shall do my best and hope that you can hear without having to strain your ears. Let's see what we've got, Pisces. Okay. The Empress, good start. You may well be feeling in your element. Now, birthing new ideas. The Empress is kind of represents all of the queens in the deck. She has everything she needs. Birthing new ideas. For some of you, not all of you, you could literally be pregnant. But more often than not, this represents your creativity, birthing new ideas, having, being in the right place, being in the perfect situation in order to produce with ease, with grace. You also have the Tower. And I believe, Pisces, that there's been a shake-up. Perhaps you're feeling the effects or the after effects of some changes in your life. With the Knight of Cups. This could be your energy. This is representing the water energy of Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And it could represent somebody else who's helping you. Because of this, which is rather a shake-up or wake-up call, even a shake-up or wake-up, doesn't have to be particularly dramatic. It can mean that you have woken up to something that perhaps you weren't acknowledging fully. It can mean that there's been some dramatic changes, you know, around your life or your lifestyle, within your personal life or within your material world. Now, having the Knight of Cups, you may, Pisces, you may be helping somebody or being able to accept help from someone who's in a position to help you. Either that, or you're assisting somebody because you are in a position, you have the Empress, you also have 9 of Pentacles, which means that you're in a pretty good place. Having everything you need, having all the tools you need, having the stability. You're very grounded. And I feel as if you've been through, the Tower is something you've experienced that you're no longer actually going through, but you come out of. And with the help of with support, with help. I feel as if you've had support so that the tower hasn't hit you as hard as it could have done. And because of this, you are able to build, and rebuilding, you know, from the tower takes a bit of effort and a bit of, you know, conscious effort to rebuild. And because I feel you've had assistance and help, it's going to be an easier sort of reconstruction, if you like, because of your personal stability. It hasn't knocked you for 6 because you're already in a pretty good place. You know, you have the Empress, you have had help or are having some help, but you have been concerned. I feel you have been a little bit concerned about your material, maybe clinging on to finances, maybe worrying about a loss of finance with 4 of Pentacles, maybe also keeping yourself to yourself, not disclosing too much about, for example, having had the Tower. I don't feel, Pisces, that you're disclosing this in great detail to anybody, because you've managed it, and you're not, as I said, it hasn't really knocked you sideways. It's impacted you, but not destroyed your confidence or destroyed your ability to, you know, pick up from where you left off. And also, because of this, I feel as if you've learned with the King of Swords how to speak more truthfully, ask for what it is you need. Perhaps you've been asking Spirit, perhaps you've been asking for guidance, and asking, you know, with clarity, knowing what it is you need to go forwards, knowing what it is, knowing that you have the mental capacity to deal with anything that might sort of knock you off kilter. You probably have been communicating more clearly with others, working on your communication skills, cutting out things that don't serve your highest good. With the King of Swords here, you're cutting out things. Perhaps you're looking at what it is you need to go forwards, to move forwards, and eliminating anything that might be or might have been holding you back. You know, you're not suffering fools gladly. You're not allowing other people to affect you emotionally either. And I feel as if, Pisces, you've also been learning through literature. Is coming through. You've been learning through literature and focusing on a more sort of intellectual, I feel as if through books, I feel as if you've been engaging with literature that is inspiring you intellectually, is sort of nourishing your intellect, let's say. Finding mental stimulation through literature, perhaps a different kind of literature. Perhaps you're studying the esoteric. Perhaps you've been looking at different philosophies. You are ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, which also rules Sagittarius. And what with Jupiter being very prominent and at the moment, and Jupiter in Leo right now, you may be feeling a lot more motivated to sort of polish up your intellectual skills, I'm feeling, through literature, through exploring different literature. Perhaps somebody has helped you by giving you a book that, perhaps, or something, giving you something to read that you wouldn't normally read, which has got you into a different way of thinking. Swords energy is about the intellect, and it's as if you've been inspired to look at things differently. I wouldn't be surprised if you have the Hanged Man come out. No, you've got the Five of Staves, the Five of Wands, and this could be in a conflict. This could be a conflict within your daily life that could have caused the Tower, but there could be some mental conflict going on, torn between having digested a whole lot of new ideas. Your mindset has changed, and there could be some internal conflict, because you may be, with the Swords energy here, kind of re-establishing your kind of belief system, looking at things through a different lens. And this could be conflicting a little bit, because you may be finding yourself in a position where you're being pushed to drop some, I would say, an old belief system that no longer works for you, or maybe you're being encouraged to drop a belief system, or re-evaluate, or rework, or remodel belief systems that you could have had and hung on to for a while. Seven of Cups, water energy, having to, in this case, be discerning. Because with the King of Swords, with the Five of Staves, Five of Wands, you could be in a turmoil, mental conflict. Having to make decisions about, I feel very strongly, it's about your belief system, which is going to, the Empress here, encourage you to produce and put out new ideas. And the way you communicate with others, perhaps you're communicating differently with different ideas, new principles, maybe as far as even your moral standing. But you are being advised, Pisces, to be discerning in the choices you're making. Interesting. The Hermit. Now, the number 5 might be significant to you. It could have been 5 books that you've read in succession that have had an influence on your mindset, on your way of seeing things. Let's rewind. Let's backpedal a minute. Let's backpedal. The Empress, birthing new ideas. There's some inner conflict here going on. And this could be, in some cases, for some of you Pisces, this is some kind of conflict within your, in your private life or work life. that's bringing you to a point where you're having to be discerning about perhaps the company you keep as well. Perhaps the company you keep, or it could be a mental conflict where you're having to reassess, your belief system, I'm feeling. And leading into the Five of Cups, not the Hermit, although they're similar energies, because it does involve going within, and it does involve reflection on the things you may have lost, reflection on the things. It's a kind of mourning card. Maybe, Pisces, you're mourning the loss of these belief systems that no longer serve you, or no longer serve your highest good. So there's a kind of element of, that was me before, that person or that part of me is gone. What's coming in for you, you need to be discerning about, because these two cups that are coming in for you here are bringing in a new perspective, a new energy, a new gifts, a new focus. And if you spend too long, Pisces, in the reflective mode of the things that have lost, and maybe through the tower, experiencing things that may have fallen down, that really aren't necessary for you to carry forwards, you need to be careful that you turn around and look at what is been salvaged, or what you still have, which is fundamental to your growth. Yeah. And communication is key. Now, there could be some important messages coming in for you. Now, these could be in the form of downloads. This could be in the form of day-to-day practical information coming through, online, your emails, your inbox. There could be some important information that you need to read that's coming in, or that you need to be keeping up with your day-to-day information coming in, being on top of that. King of Wands, fire energy, stepping into leadership, stepping into more of a leadership, because I feel, Pisces, that somewhere along the line over the last, I'd say, couple of months, you have been preoccupied perhaps with trying to keep things on an equilibrium, feeling responsible for perhaps other people's well-being, where you don't necessarily need to do that. And it could be that there's somebody in your environment, Pisces, who is depending on you to have these leadership, be a leader, lead them, maybe even guide them, and you don't necessarily need to stay in that role for anybody but you. Perhaps you have been put on a bit of a pedestal by somebody, which is making you feel that you have heavy as the head that wears the crown, and maybe you're feeling a sense of responsibility towards people, places, things. Spreading yourself thin, maybe, or having a tendency to spread yourself a little bit too thin. There's choices you have to make, and I feel, Pisces, that from time to time you get up in your head to the point where you're conflicted in making decisions in how you move forwards. Now, bearing in mind that you're being faced with some choices that you have to use your utmost discernment, which can be off-putting, because Pisces is as a characteristic, choices and making decisions can be a challenge for you, and this sense of being a little bit stuck in between, it is pretty characteristic, and it can take you a little time to be decisive, be more decisive, and maybe you have a few choices here, and you're questioning, do I want to go and participate in this particular, say, project, or this particular what do I mean? Your mental conflict could be about questioning, which path right now do I need? Is it more important for me to focus on my social life? Is it more important for me to focus on my family life? Where do I need to be putting my energy? Where do I need to be, producing? Where my sort of overflow, the Empress here, my overflow of productivity. I feel, you're feeling this, let's say, creative surge and a creative urge to get on with it, and you're looking around about where to, say, invest yourself. And also I'm most likely questioning how much energy, how much time, how much energy can you invest in certain things, whether it be a new project, whether it be a community activity that you want to get involved with, whether it's your family, your friends, your social life. You always have, Pisces, you always have a lot going on, because you're a mutable sign, of course you are, and you're ruled by Jupiter and Neptune, and there's always a lot, your world is very rich in a world, and there's always you have your finger in many pies, you're community oriented, you're often on the go, and you're often, have a project, plenty of them happening. And it's a case of sometimes you have to say to yourself, do I really want to be involved in this one? Which one is my best option? Which one is going to be more beneficial for my community? Which one will be more beneficial for me? Which one will be more beneficial for my family? That's the kind of Pisces way of psyche, the Pisces psyche, which is best for me and other people. Which is going to be the best option for moving forwards, which is going to be the best option for my happiness, for my growth, those kind of questions. So, and then the other thing is, the Two of Cups, about where do you need to share? What are you going to share with whom? Will there be equal give and take? If you invest in a certain activity, a certain project, a certain family situation, where will there be the reciprocity here? How much am I going to share with others? How much am I going to invest so that it's not going to deplete me, so it's going to make me, feel like you want to do the right thing. So you could be questioning very much about where you're going to be, putting all this Empress energy, this outpouring of creativity. Where's it going to go? What is going to be most productive for you as well? And who are you going to share this with? Now, it could be something like a community project. It could be something that's involving other people that you're looking at doing, because it usually is, Pisces. It usually is involving others. And who, where, what do I put my energy? So what else, Pisces, do we need to know for? Let's have a look. Deep. Rest. Yeah. Allow yourself to do that. So I feel as if you have quite a lot going on, Pisces, and you're on your periphery of things. A lot. Things are going to, I feel, accelerate. You're going to find yourself with a lot going on, which is why you're now having to be discerning about how much energy expenditure. Where can you put? You don't want to find yourself juggling too much, having too much on your plate, because you don't want to feel tired and exhausted by the end of the day, and you don't want a lack of reciprocity either. This is about resting when you need to. This is about allowing yourself time out. This is about pacing yourself, which is very important. Because if you don't pace yourself as a Pisces, your energy gets so dissipated. You can have, you have fingers in many pies. You have a lot usually going on, lots of different things, which makes you feel, which is good for you, because it's your kind of default. You enjoy that. You want to be doing a bit of this, a bit of that. Involved in this. Making this, helping with this. Da 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 da. And if you're not getting sufficient rest, your energy dissipates, and then you're not really, you're not excelling in any of those areas. If you see what I mean, you're not, putting your best into it. So you can't afford to spread yourself too thinly. And I think you know this. I think you understand this. And so this is why there is a little bit of mental inner conflict. You are being very careful, and you are most likely cutting out dead wood, things that you don't need, things that aren't necessary, so that you're not wasting energy and you're frittering energy in areas that are not needing your attention. And also pause. I feel as if you've had the Five of Cups, and I feel that there's a pause. There's a little bit of a pause. It's a bit like the calm before the storm. It's having to have a little bit of a pause before you then take off. It is what I feel. And you have inner child. So this is a nudge, I think. It's kind of, you need to be more playful. And I think because Pisces, you have a playful spirit, being ruled by Jupiter, being ruled by Neptune. You have a playful, childlike spirit for the most part. And your inner child, I feel, needs nourishing. So make sure that in any of these options that you're going to take here, make sure that there is enough, the options you're taking, that you have a good balance where you can express, bring out your inner child. Because if your inner child is not having a good time, is not, you're not connecting with that playful energy, that childlike, fun energy, then you're going to start feeling a bit, you're not, with you Pisces, it's about enjoying what you do. When you're not enjoying, when the enthusiasm has dropped out of the equation, you might as well not bother. I know you probably know this about yourself. So that inner child is very important. On the other hand, there could be some inner child wounding, something, you know, there's something that needs healing within, to do with inner child, to do with childhood trauma. That could also be something that you need to work on, as many of us do. And maybe something, this has been drawn to your attention through the literature you've been reading, for example. But I feel more it's about your play, you know, your inner child, your playfulness, and your childlike, something that satisfies the child within you, because you're going to be taking inspired action. Yeah, you're going to be taking inspired action to materialise the desires, the things you want to do, the things that are important to you, the things that make you happy, the things that make you feel motivated. You know, this is about you taking that inspired action. Now, it might be wise to write a wish list, a little plan, a list of, you know, what you really want, what really does motivate you, what inspires you, what makes you feel alive, or what makes you buzz, what gives you that feeling of, yes, I'm doing what I'm enjoying doing, because that will make your whatever you do much more, not just fun, not just more pleasurable, enjoyable, but it will bring out, you know, your particular skills and talents, of which you usually have many, and it will enable you to enjoy while you know, bring any of these projects to light, while you interact with others. You know, your enthusiasm is the key for your success and happiness, and also inspires other people, because it rubs off, doesn't it? When you're having a good time, when you're enjoying what you're doing, when you're motivated, when you're having inspired action, taking inspired action, you know, it's a kind of catching, you know, it's a bit like laughing contagiously. You know, when you're happy, Pisces, everyone around you feels that energy. And so it's important for you to make sure that your enthusiasm doesn't drop out, so get enough rest so that you don't feel, you know, tired or despondent or a bit too thinly spread. And you have I am sexual, so this could be something else that you need to get back in touch with your sexuality and your sensuality, because you are naturally a very sensual sign. And this could be something that you need to remind yourself of. Perhaps there has been a period of time where this hasn't been a focus for you, because you've been having to work through stuff, you've been focusing on, you know, what you're going to be producing next, choices that you've been making, and you might have come unstuck in making certain choices, perhaps even wanting advice from other people, but not giving too much away at the same time about what it is that you're doing. Almost like you don't want to jinx it, you know, that kind of attitude, and you are going forwards. So you know you are, and it feels as if you're on the verge here, you know, on the edge of moving forwards, having accumulated some more, let's say almost like data, from reading, from absorbing I'm feeling new philosophies, new ways of seeing. Yeah, because there is a degree of caution. You are, I feel, moving forwards, knowing what it is you're about to embark on. You're already doing stuff. You're already carrying out certain plans already. But you're being cautious because you don't want to find yourself in a place in, say, a few weeks, a couple of months' time, where you've made wrong decisions, wrong turnings, hence you have these Two of Swords here, because you don't want to find yourself questioning your decisions a couple of months, say, down the road. And there is a degree of reflection going on. You know, the Five of Cups, I am reflective. Maybe, Pisces, right now, you are still in a bit of a reflective mode before you, you know, feel that your confidence is up enough. You have enough of the tools you need. Being reflective over some things that perhaps there's a bit of would have, should have, could have going on as well, that you might have done, you know, not done certain things that you may have wished you'd done differently. But you know, this is descriptive of the Five of Cups. Not too much regret, but a little bit of should have, would have, could have. So you don't need to stay in that energy for very long, and I don't feel you are. I feel as if you're not going to be staying in that place for long, because you're already on the kind of path to where you want to go. Now, I'm going to pull you a Goddess Guidance card. White Tara Sensitivity. So you are becoming more increasingly sensitive to perhaps your environment, to anything in particular. It could be harsh chemicals, it could be harsh relationships, it could be environment situations, yeah, and chemicals. So you might be feeling more sensitive right here, right now, in relation to any of these things. So be careful if you're finding yourself, you know, confronted with, you know, harsh scenarios, situations and environments, because you are a sensitive soul. You know, Pisces, you are a sensitive soul. The fish, you know, you may look on the outside as if you're always, you know, a tough cookie, but you know, you are more thin-skinned than you're prepared to let on. To be real, you're more thin-skinned than you're prepared to let on, and your sensitivity is not something to be ashamed of. You know, it's something that you should quite likely be more aware of. I feel as if you should be more aware of your sensitivity as you embrace these new things and any challenges coming up for you. You know, don't talk yourself out of it and put on the bravado. You don't have to do that all the time. Be more aware of your sensitivity, so that you don't get rubbed up the wrong way and then feel like sort of retreating. Particularly environments, I'm feeling for some reason particularly stressful or harsh environments, because that's only going to mess with your, you know, you mess with your chi, you mess with your spirit. And so chemicals too, perhaps you need to look at, you know, what you're using around your household. For example, there are plenty of eco-friendly solutions. There's plenty of options where you don't have to have, you know, harsh chemicals. You know, ask yourself, what shampoo do you use? What do you put, you know, in your washing up bowl? What, you know, all of these things. What do you clean your floor with? I know it sounds mundane, but it is important, because your environment is, your environment is the things you touch, it's the things you breathe in, it's the, perhaps you need to get a water filter, or perhaps, you need to look at a more organic way of organic eating, maybe an organic, a better diet, detox, things that aren't going to do to create toxicity in your body, because your body is your vessel. It's the thing that, we are human, we are, souls having the human experience. We are bodies with souls, we are souls, this is our vessel, this is our vehicle, that gets us through, carries us through the world. And if you don't respect that vehicle, it's like a car maintenance. So if you're not putting good things into your body, if you're not nourishing yourself with the best things you can possibly nourish yourself with, you're going to start having problems. You're going to start, things are going to start not functioning as well as they can. Think of it like that. And it's necessary for you, Pisces, you're being as sensitive as you are, to check these things, and ensure that you are, and I know organic food and organic eating is more expensive, let's say. It costs more to eat that way, to drink that way, to fuel your body correctly. But you know that too, Pisces, because you understand things like nutrition. It's often one of your subjects of expertise. So don't think in that way. Realise that it is more important. And it is a myth about organic eating being more expensive, because you're actually buying quality, not quantity. And you hunger less when you nourish your body with better food. Your body doesn't need so much. If you put not very nourishing food, or food loaded with processed food loaded with all sorts of unmentionables, you're going to crave that. But you're going to want more of that food. You're going to crave that food, because that's what it's designed to do, to make you want it, to make you crave it. And it's full of sugars and full of awful things and chemicals and awful things, and your body gets addicted to that, and it's not actually good for you. So when you're eating, as you probably well know, Pisces, you're eating an organic diet, a whole food or wholesome diet. You're not eating perhaps as much, or consuming as, you're not consuming or needing to consume unhealthy quantities. And pay attention to this too. And express yourself through the arts. I felt that was coming. And if you've had a time out where you haven't been expressing yourself through the arts, I feel that you already know that this is an avenue for you where you will get, or be rewarded with substantial success. You do have natural artistic gifts, and make sure that these activities that you're selecting, that you're choosing, make sure that they are a means to express yourself, that they're an avenue or a channel in which you can express yourself, bring out your inner child, have some fun about it too. Now I'm feeling, let's see what could help you in terms of well, carnelians come up, mineralogy. Now carnelian, I believe I have some here. Yeah, it's lovely. It's an orange, shiny, sort of mid-orange, coppery orange, russet, you could say, orange. And that's going to inspire you with courage and willpower, promote vigour. It's also good for public speaking. So if you're doing anything through the arts that will involve you speaking, if it's acting or performing, anything like that, it can also give you stability, better moods, stabilise you, promotes idealism. You can be idealistic, of course you can, Pisces, and a sense of community, and also a sense of pragmatism. Also helps improve the quality of your of blood and stimulates the small intestine, boosts your metabolism and your circulation, blood flow. So I'm feeling that could be helpful for you, especially with the courage. You know, if you're going to be putting something out there that's through the arts, that always takes a bit of courage, and that will just enhance your courage and your willpower, so that you don't feel, from time to time, you can feel a bit despondent, a little bit. Your confidence can sometimes dip. So that could be good. And also I'm feeling like red jasper or poppy jasper, very easy to get hold of. I've got a piece somewhere, but not here. I wear often the poppy jasper and sometimes the red jasper, and this is for mood enhancing. It also brings cheerfulness, and gives you impetus for variety, you see, and you're very varied in your, let's say, your various disciplines. You're very varied in your skills and talents. You know, you're usually across the board having very many interests, and so this will help with your impetus for variety and new experiences. Also, it stimulates your imagination, and you're very imaginative, Pisces. You have a vast array of imagination. Can be surreal sometimes. I always think of Pisces as having a very surreal imagination, and that will also help you with that. If you're putting anything, if you're needing your imagination to be heightened or stimulated, poppy jasper is the one for you. It also stimulates, also helps with versatility, and being so versatile as you are, we're just discussing your versatility, that was the word I was looking for. Your versatility will also be stimulated and help you to realise your ideas, which you're bringing out, putting out into the world, starting this, because you're bursting, it feels you're bursting with these ideas at this moment in time. And it also enhances the immune system, so that will help you if you're doing a lot, keep your immunity up. Now red jasper, it contains hematite, interestingly enough, and that is good for strengthening your willpower and helping your courage, your dynamism. It gives yeah, excuse me, my eyes are pretty bad. Gives energy and enhances your warrior spirit, giving courage for unpleasant tasks, so anything that you're coming up against that you don't really enjoy doing, but it's a part of what you need to do. So it makes you also more spiritually alert, and it warms and enlivens, enhances blood flow, stimulates blood circulation, and it's a good one for you. So bear that in mind. Poppy jasper, red jasper and carnelian, that they could help you. So I hope that was helpful, Pisces, and if you would like to share this video, if you would like to give this a thumbs up, leave me comments. I really enjoy and I appreciate comments more than you know, and it's also helpful feedback for me, and I just enjoy hearing from you if this has been helpful, and subscribe or thumbs up, whatever you like, and I'm wishing you the best and sending you lots of love, until the next time we connect. Take care. Okay, bye for now.